Okay, so my name is Liz Deerking, and I am joined with Dr. Jim Schultz today, and this is Market Movers. We are going to talk through a trade that Jenny and it's a long time in the making. I'm going to have Dr. Jim, who is the originator of the gimmes and gotchas, break this trade down, gimmes and gotchas, because it's something that I've got a lot of college students doing. My son is a freshman at the University of Kentucky. He's a finance major. Tori has just sent me some swag for them as I'm going down there this weekend. We've got a lot of people now watching the show, and the boys really like instant gratification. So Dr. Jim, I'm going to go to this slide, and I have been having them. Let's pop into the platform. There's a lot of information on here. We're just looking at this column, and I don't think you can see my arrow, the $10 wide, okay? So all we're looking at is the 0 DTE SPX $10 wide at the money put spread. Okay, so meaning, and I'll show you, I'll actually go to the platform and show one as well. So it's opened at 9 a.m. and then you immediately put in a GTC for 25%. Okay, so if you look at this, what Jacob, our resident genius, has done is he's kind of broken this down, and this is step 20 of something that we've been doing. But $10 wide put spread, it's got an 86% probability, 86% win rate. Over 3 years of data, meaning every day you put it on, the average P&L with the wins and the losses is $50.39 a day. The max drawdown here, that's why I think this is very important. And Jacob has done this for us. You know, we know if it's a $10 wide and I'm collecting $4, the most you can lose is $6. The max drawdown is if you entered at the unluckiest of times with a string in a row of losses, okay? So that's why the max drawdown is more than what a $10 wide defined risk trade would be, okay? So then I'm just gonna show one real quick, just so you can kind of see this. Now 9 a.m. was vetted, so we've been doing them at 9 a.m. All my son knows to do is open it up and sell the just at the money put spread. Now it's later in the day right now, but usually you'll see $4.20, $4 of that nature. So, and at 9 a.m. And then once you place the trade, you put a GTC in to take 25%. So from that perspective, Dr. Jim, that's $100. Just keep in mind, it's $100. Or you're going to, wow, we just popped up. Did you see that? So that's the crux of the trade, because the boys, in my mind, when I'm learning this, really like the instant gratification of this trade and no risk overnight. So they've been doing it. He's been profitable. He has had strings of losses. His account right now is up. He put it on this morning at 9 o'clock and it is down. His short strike is the 65.70. So he's not too far away. This is his strikes right now. Let me clear this one off. These are his current strikes right now. Once again, he sold it for about $430, so it's only down about $200, and he's got his GTC in to close it for 25%. This seems to be very popular with the youngins, if you will. So, Dr. Jim, I set it up. You can ask any questions you want, but give me the gimmes and gotchas.
Okay, so a couple of things that jump out at me immediately. So this is 3 years of data. Is it the most recent 3 years? Like, are we talking 23, 24, 25? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing that jumps out at me is it's a short put spread. It's heavily directional, especially given the fact that it's a zero DTE. There's really not, and it's at the money. So there's not really any time for any non-directional elements to really come into play here in terms of theta and volatility. And so it's a bullish play. Well, a bullish play in 23, you're going to make money. A bullish play in 24, you're going to make money. A bullish play even in 25, you're going to do okay. Like, I mean, the data set happens to be 3 incredibly strong years in the market, especially 23 and 24. And so that's the first thing that jumps out at me. And then obviously the at the moneyness of the spread. You know, I mean, one of the things is, you know, when you sell 45 days, I mean, you can be directional, but you also have these non-directional elements that are working for you with time and volatility. And so when it comes to 0 DTE, just kind of zooming out a little bit, I really like it for its potential. I really like it as a complementary piece to like a foundation, but I don't necessarily love it as a substitutionary piece to the foundation. And so those are kind of some gimmes and gotchas right off the bat. And then, you know, as far as, yeah, I mean, the 25%, I do feel like you need to manage this quickly. I know the research team has looked at this a ton, and I do think with these types of strategies, if you're going to do them, I think quick management makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of traders out there like to do, I mean, SPX is great because it's cash settled. You can take it to expiration if you want to. You don't have to worry about assignment and such. But I see a lot of traders taking things to expiration. I think that's a mistake, in my opinion. Even if you wanted to manage it at 50% or 70%, whatever, but some type of early management, whether it's 25, 50, 75, I mean, you can kind of choose. I really like that element of this, kind of taking it off early. And I mean, the data are very promising. There's no question about that. But, it would be interesting to see what a strategy like this looked like back in 2022.
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of the amazing things about like doing what we normally do, right? Like what we normally do at 45 days is, selling, I mean, whatever you want to sell, strangles, puts, whatever. But what's amazing is how well the strategies hold up when you're wrong directionally. Like we see it when you're, if you were long or bullish in 2022, you probably did okay with short puts and even out of the money short put spreads, but especially undefined risk. And then, in markets where the market is really strong, like 23, 24, if you were selling calls or what have you, you probably did okay because of the simple power of short premium and the time and the non-directional elements. So I would really like to see, just as a bit of like a robustness check, how does this hold up when you're kind of wrong every day directionally as opposed to being right every day? And I guess we're kind of getting some trial by fire right now because that's happening in the current market. And so, I mean, how long has your son been doing it for?
So he's been doing it for probably about 6 months. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple other little caveats and how this. So we've been working with Jacob, and we've actually been working with Jajun. Do you remember Jajun?
Hmm.
He was a researcher from a long time
Of
ago.
course.
So Jajun did a piece, and this is I'm just kind of adding to it. So this is like improv, right? I agree with everything you said, and now I'm adding to it. These are details that I probably failed to mention. So it's springboarded off the fact that Jajun did a piece that there are more 5-minute up bars after 9 a.m. between 9 and 10 a.m. Central Standard Time than there are down bars, even on down days. And so the whole point of this trade was that if you get a little pop, you're out, meaning that it could be a debaucherous day. He's had trades on where it was a down day of 100 points, but he got out for 25% within minutes because he got a little bit of a pop before the hammer hit. So I agree with you that it is an up day move. Like it's been a bullish market, so these generally will win eventually. So he's been putting them on. He is profitable. Now he's had a string of losses, I will tell you that. And the reason that he likes the wrapped around the at the monies is it's only 2 or 3 times before he makes back up his loss. Because if
Yep.
you think about it from this perspective, he's going to lose $6 if he loses, but he's making 100, 150 each time. So it's 3 or 4 for every loss you get, you need 3 or 4. So the numbers kind of have been working out for him where he's maybe making about, if I had to average, he's probably got about $25 a day, but that's a huge for
Oh,
a
yeah. For a
college
kid in college? Oh, come on, man.
kid.
Like, that's unbelievable. No, that's great.
Yeah. So that's what I've got him doing because of his short-term attention spans. But I like what you're saying. What you're saying about the durational trades are the way to go. It's just when you're looking at a 19-year-old kid, and I was like, yeah, you have to wait 45 days to get your $25 out. It's a little trickier.
Of course, of course, of course. Yeah. And so, I mean, if you're just getting started, if you're just getting going like your son's doing, like that's amazing. He's 19, he's 18, 19, 20. I mean, he's just getting going. And so any type of exposure in the markets when you're just getting going, as long as you keep it small and you give yourself kind of a safety net to make mistakes because you're going to make mistakes. I mean, that's just an amazing start. Like we all started, like, how did you start, Liz? Like way back in the day, how did you start? Like walk me through the first couple trades for Liz Deer King back in the day.
So back in the day, I mean, I was on the trading floor. My first trade, my first contract was LSI. It was Logic, and I remember screaming as loud as I could. But before that, I'd always been interested in stocks. I mean, when I was a little kid, my dad, you used to have to look it up on the paper, the tickers. Like I would be a little kid, and my dad would give me the paper, and we'd look up like his stock symbols and the tickers in the paper, and we'd highlight it. So I've always kind of had that interest in it. But Jim, I think the reason that I got so drawn to trading, and this is so superficial, is the fact that I am tall, very fast, and very loud. And everybody my entire life told me to slow down. Everybody told me to slow down in anything that I did. And I walked onto that trading floor for the first time ever, and I was like, I have found my people. Fast and loud were the fast and loud were the only assets you needed, and the height helped a little bit. But yes, so that's kind of how I got started. I've always been interested in investing and looking at the stock market and things of that nature. But I personally think that options, and I think you're probably of this opinion as well, options are a game changer, an absolute game changer. They're the thinking man's investing instead of going out there and saying, I think Tesla's going up. Well, if you think Tesla's going up, sell a short put, sell a short put spread. Or if you think Tesla's going down, sell a call spread. It doesn't even have to be directionally right for you to make money, which is mind blowing when you think about it from that perspective.
Yeah, no, that's the big unlock, and that's probably what your son is starting to realize. Where it's like, man, like especially with like the Jajun research and the 5 minute bars and what have you, it's like, man, you don't even need to really get the direction of move that correct. And given the short-term nature and the very modest profit targets that are attached to the strategy, like you just need a little bit and then you're out. And that's what can really start to change the way people look at the markets in terms of opportunity and in terms of doing different things. And so, yeah, I mean, when you're starting in the stock market, it's usually pretty simple. Like I buy a stock, it goes up, I make money. I buy a stock, it goes down, I lose money. I buy a stock, it goes nowhere, I don't make or lose any money. And then you get into the options world. On either side of the contract, you start to realize, man, there's a lot more going on here. Like time has a much bigger impact, volatility has a much bigger impact, strike selection has a much bigger impact. And so it is absolutely the thinking man's option. I like the way that you put that.
I do. It's the thinking man's. All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Jim, for giving me all the gimmies and gotchas. That is going to conclude this segment.